Welcome, friends. Today, we're going to talk about 5 strategies wealthy investors are using right now to score some below market value properties in today's uncertain markets. Some people might call it crazy. Some people might call it unprecedented, but I like to say uncertain because no one knows what's going to happen. And what's great about that is confused minds don't know what to do. And for as buyers and opportunists, that presents opportunities for us, and that's what we're here to capture. Okay. The reality is, if you're going to be an investor, and you have to be able to make money in all different types of markets. Everybody's a hero when the market's doing well, as it was for so long. But in times of uncertainty, when we go through these kind of rebalancing periods, you got to still be able to make money. And we do that by being sophisticated, by knowing what's going on in the marketplace and using strategies that are market appropriate, right? To get opportunities. If we can get stuff that's cheap, when the market comes back and restabilize itself, we only stand to profit. Okay. For those of you that know me, I promise I'll be brief. For those of you that don't, there's a lot of new people on the call. So I just want to do a quick intro so people know who I am, who this crazy guy is talking to you. Okay. Let's start. My name is Paul. If you don't know, I born in Toronto, right at Jane and Finch, right in the hood. If you don't know where that is, born right in the hospital there. I lived right there on Wilmont. Grew up in the neighborhood here, went to school there. And yes, I did get robbed right there at knife point, later at gunpoint too. The stereotypes are true, but that's where I was from. And I believe it or not, I live with my grandparents. My old Italian grandparents there on Wilmont, because my parents were divorced when I was young, 6 months old. So I lived with my grandparents, and I mean, life was generally good. Food was plentiful, promise you that. And I kind of learned a lot from my grandfather. He was a hard worker. He had the garden in the back, making wine, making tomatoes and sausage and all that kind of stuff. But he's an old man and came from a different place in a different era, and he wasn't an investor, that's for sure. So it was go to school or don't go to school like he did. He never went to school, but if you're not going to go to school, work your ass off. But in our day and age, we went to school and then work your ass off. Make money, save money, buy your house, pay off your mortgage, and hope for the best. And that's what he did. And I guess in his era, it kind of worked for him. And that's kind of what I, learned by accident just from being at home, right? And like many of us, we don't get the type of training we should to prepare ourselves for the world of money and the world of investing at home. For most of us, we have to unlearn and then relearn, what's really happening once we get out in the world and try and figure it out for ourselves. And some people never learn. Actually, most don't. So feel fortunate if you're here and you're in that mindset that you want to, do what most other people don't, right? So I spent the first 12 years there, and then we moved. Me and my mom and I moved up to Maple, Ontario. Went to Wonderland, lived basically across the street. Worked at Fortino's in the grocery store. I lived here until I was about 18, went to high school here. And then, my first career, believe it or not, I was a fireman in Toronto. And I've since retired. I've been retired for about 4 years now. But, my conditioning, my programming, when I was younger, taught me to go out and get a good job. And that's kind of what I did. And I still believe it today. If you're going to get a job, being a fireman it's a pretty good gig. I know there's some police officers on the call here, and we like to jab at each other. We used to always cover accidents. So there'd be accidents, and the fire truck would show up, and the cops would show up, the ambulance would show up, and we'd always tease each other, and then the cops would be like, the big one was like we'd go back to our truck, and there'd be stacks of pillows in the back of the truck, and like, you guys are jerks, right? They'd make fun of us because they're like, hey, go home and sleep and that kind of thing, and we'd be like, yeah, see you guys, we're gonna go have our nap and have our so listen, it was a good gig. while it lasted. I got no regrets, but it really wasn't a place that was going to help me kind of grow to where I wanted to be. You know, what's interesting about that is I did learn a lot that kind of helped in business. You know, the teamwork, the discipline, that kind of stuff. You need that in, you know, to be a successful fireman. But at the same time as I was becoming a fireman, I was actually joining Rockstar Real Estate, a brokerage that had kind of just formed at that time. And I was learning to be an investor at the same time. So that's me down there in the bottom right corner when I was a lot younger, right? And, you know, fast forward, you know, that was me kind of graduating at Toronto. And while I was just getting hired to the job, I was actually, I already had 3 properties under my belt. I bought my first one when I was 24. By the time I was 25, I was just getting hired to the fire department and going through the basic training, which, you know, you can see here, the graduation. And after I got my 3rd property, Rockstar was like, hey, you know, you're young and you bought all these properties, you seem to be motivated. Hey, why don't you come work for us? And I said, no, I hate realtors. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you guys anymore, kind of thing. But I kind of got sucked into that world. You know, being around other investors is really addictive and motivating too, because it's like being in a if anyone's ever done group fitness, you know what I mean, and you're running these things on the clock. You know, if the guy beside you is doing push-ups faster, it really motivates you to, you know, to pump it out, right? And that's kind of the cheesy analogy I use about being around other really good investors, and that there's always somebody who's doing more than you, who's done more than you, who's been around longer than you. And, you know, you're standing or sitting or talking right beside them, and it's accessible. You know, it's way better than having a group of people who are not in that game. So if you want to be in this game, being in a group setting like that is really powerful. And it was powerful for me when I was young, and I really enjoyed it. So that's really the big reason why I ended up, you know, getting my real estate license and actually started helping other investors. So that's me as a lot younger, and taking people out on a tour to see multifamily properties. This is over 10 years ago. So some of those people bought up several properties and have done extremely well over the last decade, as you can imagine, right? So, you know, what's my mission now? I mean, at this point, you know, I have about 16 or 17 different properties of various sizes, some small, you know, duplexes, some larger multifamily type properties. I have some Airbnb properties. We have some international properties. We have student rentals. We're doing development projects. We have some land, you know, some raw land that we're in the middle of development. Last 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, we finished developing a 3-year project. We built 18 townhouses, you know, sold them all. And, you know, my portfolio is taking me to a place where, you know, it's become a pretty serious income stream for me, and a wealth generator for myself and my family. It provides a lot of freedom. And, you know, what's the important distinction there for me is that as my portfolio grew, it became less about the ROI, became less about the return on investment, and more about the return on my lifestyle. You know, as I'm getting older now, and I have 3 kids, 3 young kids under 8, and a wife. I live with 4 women at home. That's why I'm in the office here doing this presentation, because there's no way I'd have peace at home. And it's about return on my lifestyle. So as my lifestyle is kind of progressing and things are changing, my portfolio is helping me live the best kind of lifestyle that I think is possible, right? And I think that is and should be the ultimate goal for everybody on this call. You know, of course, we all want to make money, but it's one thing to make the money and generate wealth and generate that cash flow. It's another thing to use that to help yourself live a better lifestyle. Because if your portfolio and your properties and your investments are not helping you better lifestyle, if they're simply a place of stress and simply a place where you collect money, then what the hell is the point? right? So, what does that mean to me? And listen, I'm a simple guy. I'm not the Ferrari driving kind of guy, but I'm a family man. That's my family there. I like to spend time with them in chunks. Then I like to get the hell out to have some peace and quiet. I like to play poker with my buddies and get out there and play some sports, play some soccer. I have season tickets at TFC. I take my wife sometimes. My kids are starting to get into it. Okay. And most importantly, I get to spend time with them. We just got back. You can't see on Zoom, but I got a good tan going. We just got back from 4 weeks in the Caribbean. And it's my portfolio allows me to do that, spend 4 weeks with my kids, my family, uninterrupted. And that's what's important to me. Okay. I'm a professional real estate investor. It's my passion. It's what I do. By professional, I mean, my portfolio helps me, live a better lifestyle. I'm using profits from my portfolio to enjoy my life. You know what I mean? We're not just collecting properties and keeping cash flow in a bank account. We've progressed from there. And, I'm always buying and selling regardless of what's going on with the market. Okay. We're getting into land stuff. And I'm very passionate about it. I love it. I enjoy it. And I especially enjoy teaching it to others. Okay. I enjoy spending time with my boys. Okay. It's important to me to get out of the house and, have some dinners, grab some beers. Picture on the right is, my wedding party. I'm still friends with most of those guys. And these long-term relationships are super important to me. Right. And, being where I am allows me to kind of enjoy that more often. Okay. And I'm a coach, I'm a mentor to a lot of other investors and a real estate investment advisor, if you want to call it that. So my focus is helping others invest in real estate and build portfolios that have lasting impacts on your lifestyle. Okay. So for those of you who don't know me, that's who I am. And that's kind of what I do. That's the short version. Okay. Damien is one of the investors I started working with. We're coming on 8 years now. And he's got 4 properties. He doesn't have like amazing, spectacular, like Guinness World Book of Records kind of results. But Damien was just a regular dude. Like when I met Damien, he was working in the call center at Rogers. So when your Rogers cell phone or your TV was out and you called the customer service, there's a good chance you talked to Damien and you were screaming bloody murder at this guy, right? That was his job. And, we were able to get a couple properties for him early. And then over a period of time, those properties appreciated. 3, 4, 5 years later, we were able to refinance and then go get 2 more properties. So he's got 4 properties right now. And, for him, it's life-changing. He's able to use his cash flow to take time off his job. He goes back to Jamaica, goes to see his mom, takes time off whenever he wants to. And that's the kind of freedom he's created. Right. Whereas, Richard and Ingrid, same, they've had life-changing results, but the amount of properties they've accumulated is insane. And there's more here that I couldn't fit on the screen. And I've worked with these guys for a long time. Ingrid's a math teacher. She actually wrote a book about, numbers and how to calculate ROIs and cash flows for her grade 10 students. Really great story and great people. And these are the things that are possible, right? Over a period of time, as you start to accumulate assets, the possibilities in your lifestyle increase tremendously, right? So, I talk about lifestyle a lot, and I want to give you an example here. That's the end result, and that's what I want you to get to eventually. And what does that mean? It means, we've had people number of people quit their job, over 30. We've helped kind of retire from their 9-to-5 grinds, right? We've had people support their parents. I love that story. It was a Filipino brother and sister kind of investor team. And they were young people, and they'd made a little bit of money in their jobs and stuff like that. And when they came to me, and I always ask, well, hey, why are you here? Like, why do you want to invest? What's your motivation? And they said something that blew my mind. Like they said, we want to help our parents. We want to help pay off our parents' mortgage, because my parents came here from the Philippines, and they worked crappy $30,000-$40,000 a year jobs forever, and worked even part-time jobs in the evening to help support our house and put us through school. They had no education, they barely spoke English, and now we've kind of made it here in Canada, and we want to help pay their mortgage. And I was throwing them back, because I was, usually you hear, I want to retire, I want cash flow, I want to travel the world, I want all these things that are more personal based. And that was a great one for me. And they were able to do that, by the way. They paid off their parents, like their mortgage was like $236,000, and they were able to pay it off for them. So that's the things that you can do, and that people have done, kind of working in our system here. And it's fantastic. So we have a number of examples of this, and I hope that what we share can help motivate you too. Okay. So the reality is, folks, that without your money working for you, you're never going to stop working for money. Period. The end. Okay. And I'll prove it to you. Even if you're trapped in a good income, it's hard to build any real wealth. And that was true for me being a fireman. I mean, I think my salary when I quit was like $116,000, which is not a terrible salary, plus benefits, and giving me a lifetime free supply of t-shirts. You know what I mean? Like, there's some perks that come along with a job like that. And many people make a lot more money than that, but they're trapped in their income. They're stuck in that grind, and you can't get out. And unless you take your money, your excess dollars, and start investing them into real assets, you're never going to escape the rat race. Okay. Real wealth comes from setting in motion a growing asset base. You can focus on accumulation while still extracting cash when you need it. Okay. And this is why you're never going to escape. You cannot save fast enough to catch the way asset prices are growing. Okay. You can't. Unless you're making $800 to $1 million a year, you're not going to catch the speed. And what's interesting, this little bump here, this was 2017, the beginning of COVID. This little decline is right now. Now, this is from August 2022. It's probably a slightly larger decline, to be fair, in case someone wants to point that out. But, take a look at the big picture, folks. This is why people like me, who are data-driven, are not scared. Okay. So another great example, Rachel and Anthony, and why I always talk about Rachel, especially, and Anthony, is because they're not necessarily prolific real estate investors. They have a fantastic business. They run music schools. They have about 4 of them in like Kleinburg, Bolton, Oakville, and Port Credit, Mississauga, right? So they do really well in their business, but they're like, hey, what if something happens to me? What if I get sick? What if I get hurt in a car accident? I can't work anymore. My business is going straight to hell. I need some assets behind me to support me and store and grow some wealth. And that was a different motivation that most people don't talk like that. And now I use their story to talk to business people who have successful businesses. Like, hey, I know your business is great and it's worth this much and you're producing all this income, but it doesn't mean you don't have to invest those dollars. It's not a choice. It's almost a necessity. The way inflation's going, the way our debt-based system is going, like you can't just leave excess dollars in your bank account. You're getting killed with inflation. And Rachel and Anthony were a great example of kind of how to put that into practice. Okay, so let me give you what I promised you here. We're going to talk about some real boots on the ground strategies here that I'm using and a lot of investors I work with are using. And let me get into it right now. So, relationships. This might not be a surprise, but I'm going to tell you how to kind of get in touch with these relationships and why they're so valuable. So, when you're looking for properties that are below market value, it's not like they're in abundance, and it's not like someone has a list of them. Like, hey, look at all these 10 beautiful, amazing off-market properties that are under market value. Here they are, sir. That doesn't work that way. If I find a really good property, I have a list of people that I'm going to share it with. And this list of people I know have money, are motivated, and know exactly what they're doing. They're not going to take 3 days to think about it, kind of thing. And this is the way the game works. And I'm going to explain to you why that's important in a second. So I'd say that the biggest relationship you want to have is with realtors and mortgage brokers. You private mortgage brokers also. They are most of the time going to be privy to the types of opportunities that you're looking for. And if you're in their good books and on their list, then they're going to share it with you. That's the first stop. Think about it. If you're going to sell your property, right, and it's in disrepair, or it's you need to sell and close in 3 weeks, so you're going to sell at a discount, who are you going to call first? Right? You're going to call your accountant? Probably not. You're going to call I don't know, your baker? No. Right? Typically, you're going to speak to your realtor, or you're probably trying to get some lending to fix some problems, so you're talking to your mortgage broker. So typically those two know first, which is why you need to establish relationships with multiple. Realistically, if you're in the game that you can acquire multiple properties. Contractors are a very good source also, because typically problems happen during construction. And a lot of them are coming up right now with small time or aggressive builders who thought they were going to build and speculate in the marketplace, and have since got kind of eaten alive by the high interest rates, and they're not able to take profit because the market has shifted 5, 10, 15, 20% lower, in some cases almost overnight. So the contractors know also, and they talk. That's what's interesting about contractors. They're not like realtors or mortgage brokers. They're not in a professional business in a sense, is that they talk, and this guy, oh, I'm working on this job and that. But if you know contractors and they know you, okay, you're going to get access to deals, right? You're going to get access to deals. Property managers is another big one. And I find they're a great resource, especially for multifamily type properties. Okay. Because, think about this. Let's say you own a 10-plex, a 12-plex, an 8-plex, something like that, and you're planning on selling your property. Yes, you may talk to your realtor or your mortgage broker. They may know already. But you're going to warn your property manager too. You're going to say, hey, Mr. Property Manager, I'm going to start, I don't want you to fill those 2 vacant units we have, because I want to sell this property right now, and I need these vacant units to show. Or Mr. Property Manager, the tenant in unit 4 and unit 8, they're paying way below market rent. I'm thinking about selling, and I need to get those 2 vacant so my property doesn't look like crap on paper, right? I need to get the income up. So property managers know what's going on and if there's going to be a potential sale. And given their business, often given the actions of the landlord, they can often smell it coming. So they are a fantastic resource, especially for multifamily. Okay, wholesalers, this is pretty straightforward. Wholesalers, this is what they do. They're out there hunting for people who need to sell for various reasons, who don't want to or can't use realtors or the MLS system. And the wholesaler is buying it on spread. If the property is worth 500,000, they're putting it under contract for 450 and then selling it to somebody else for 475, right? Everybody's getting a little bit of a discount, and the wholesalers essentially being the middleman. Okay, real estate lawyers, a much harder one to crack, but they know what's up, especially if there's problems brewing. They know what's up. And I've gotten calls, even in passing. Hey, shit, I'm dealing with this one. Oh my God, they're trying to sell it, but the wife is blocking it because of a divorce. It's a disaster. He's looking for a cash. And my ears ring. Okay, now, I don't want to make this a cheesy training call. Okay, anybody can put a list like this together and talk to you about this kind of stuff. These relationships aren't going to matter if you don't know what your identity is. What is your relationship with yourself as an investor? Who knows you? Who gives, listen, guys, the reality is, and gals, who gives a shit who you know if they don't know you? Okay? let's use me as an example. If you know me and you know I have access to these kind of deals, not every day, but maybe a couple times a month, these cross my desk and I send it to John or who else on the list here? I might send it to Ray or Simram. Say, hey, I got these deals. It's because I know you, right? I know you, but do you know me? Okay, I need to know that you are well capitalized, that you're a serious investor, and you need to stay in touch. So just because you know of the realtor, you know of the contractor, you had a conversation with them once, it doesn't mean you have that kind of relationship with them. You need to be in a position where they see you as valuable also. The lawyer is not going to share that kind of story or data with you if you're just some guy they're talking to. So more than the relationships is you have to develop the relationship. So when you talk to a realtor and say, hey, look, I'm looking for off-market deals. Okay, I get emails like that 4, 5, 6 times a month. Good for you. Who are you? Tell me your story. Why should I give these to you and not to give this deal not to you and not to Yoshiko or to Rajesh or to Nikhil? You know, if I already know these people, I'm not going to give it to somebody I don't. And that's true for the contractors. It's true for the mortgage brokers. It's true for the property managers and the wholesale. The wholesalers especially. You imagine a wholesaler goes out there, finds a fantastic deal below market value. Now they're going to sell it. They're going to make their commission or their profit. They need to know that you're going to be able to close. They're just going to give it to you because you got a nice smile. No, they need to know who they're dealing with. So your identity as an investor is very, very important in this game if you want off-market, below market value properties, okay? People need to know that you can close, that you're serious, you got cash, and that you're a real investor. Take that to the bank, okay? So on the market, what you want to do is you want to hunt 30-day plus listings. So listings that have been on the market 30 days or longer. DOM stands for days on market. Okay. I like to call those stale properties. Okay. And they're usually ripe for opportunity, especially in a market like we're in right now. Okay. Especially like we're in a market right now. When things were hot and things were selling in 2 hours or 2 days or one weekend or less than a week, didn't always make sense. Okay, but in a more balanced market, in an uncertain market like this is where this strategy moves right up the list to being very, very valuable. So what I like to do is if I find a property, been on the market for a while, 30 days, usually 90% of the time, 30 days or longer, is the first thing I do is I like to call the other realtor, the listing agent, as we call it. And I'll introduce myself and I'll just basically make friends, build rapport. Hey, what's going on? Hey, yeah, tough market out there. How you doing with this listing? How has showings been? Whatever, just talk and lower the defense. And basically what I want them to do is just yap. Once they're yapping, I zip my mouth shut and I let them talk. Oh yeah, we've had 20 showings. It's been out there for a month. We haven't had many showings, or we had 4 offers and 4 of them failed on financing. Now, for somebody like me, that's music to my ears. If you had 1, 2, 3 offers come in and they all fell apart, something's wrong. Either there's something wrong with the property, there's a foundation leak, there's some major problem, or there's a problem with the appraiser. The appraiser is not appraising the rents. It's not financeable for some reason, because if 3 properties fall apart, there's usually a story there that we need to know. And for me, that's opportunity, because if I can solve that problem, I'm going to get that property on a discount. So step 1 is to speak to the listing agent and find out what's going on. Try and get as much story as possible. Okay. And then when I make my offer, I'm usually, and I use percentages, so I'm precise. I'm usually offering somewhere between 10 and 20% below market value. Okay. And I'm doing that on purpose because I've measured the data and I know where a good deal stands. So if a property is listed at 500 and you're offering 450, well, that's 10% below market value. If you're offering 400, that's 20% below market value. Okay. In my world, sorry, I should say that historically, like historically, over a very long period of time, properties sell in an average of 98 to 100% of their value. Simple as that, right? But anything 5 to 10% below market value, that's a good deal. If you're in the range of 10% below market value, that's approaching home run territory. Okay. And if you're above 10%, by my calculation, you're in grand slam territory. Okay. And the key indication here is not the list price, it's market value. You see, I don't use the word list price here because something might be listed at 500, but the market value is 460, 470, 480, right? So you got to be very clear and precise with your numbers. So you make sure you're getting a good deal. The best way to make money in real estate is to make money when you buy, not when you sell. Okay. Now, what I do, I like to make my offer 10 to 20% below market value based on the story and what I'm seeing with the property and with the situation. Okay. And 99% of the time, they're going to reject that first offer. And that's okay. That's what I'm expecting. Okay. But what I do is I make a long irrevocable. Okay. Usually like 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, a week even. Because I want them to sit on it. And my message will be like, okay, Mr. Listing Agent, I get it. Your seller thinks it's worth more. They don't want to take what you consider a lowball offer. That's fair, totally. Sit on it for a week. Do your open house this weekend. Go for the weekend showing. Yeah, it's going to be a sunny weekend. Maybe you're going to have 30 showings. I don't know. But sit on it for a while. And if you change your mind next week, let me know. What that does is it shows confidence. Okay. They're not going to deal with somebody who's they feel like it's just some night flyer. Get in. Oh, here's my offer. Okay. It's good for 3 hours. Or don't accept it. Gone. Like, people don't respond to that kind of crap. Right. So I build a relationship. I give them an offer to set the tone, and I make a long irrevocable. I show them I'm serious and I'm confident. And then I'll either do it right away, or depending on the flavor of the situation, I'll show them a pre-approval. I'll reach out 2-3 days later, or sometimes I'll send it with the offer. Say, hey, look, don't forget, my client or me, if I'm buying it for me, we're pre-approved. No joke, no financing condition in the offer. Done deal. Sign and we're done. Close in 30 days. Or I'll show cash. Hey, look, here's the bank account for the buyer. We're ready to close anytime you are. Right? Now, even if they got another offer that was $20,000 more than mine, my offer still has value because I've shown cash. I've shown a pre-approval. I've shown that the strength of my buyer. Whereas very likely whoever this other buyer is might have a financing condition. It could have an inspection condition. They're not showing their bank account. There's question marks on whether they can close. Okay. So a letter to the seller, I'll show you that in a second. But on an investment property, sometimes I'll just direct a letter to the seller, right? Not a targeted letter drop, but a letter to the seller. I'll write an email to the agent, dear Mr. Listing Agent, here's our offer. As per our phone call, this is why I'm offering it like this. And this is what we're thinking. This is why I like your property. This is what I don't like about the property. This is why I'm offering it this way. And then just below that, I'll say, here, please direct this to the seller. And I write, dear Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, right? So I make sure it's presented. Hey, my name is Paul. I'm a human being. I'm not a robot. Okay. We're making an offer on your property. And I use basic language. I'm not talking about, data as I am with a realtor, very basic language. And what I'm trying to do in that letter is create KLT. Know, like, trust. I want them to know, like, and trust me. They may not like me in the end because of my low offer, but at least they know who I am. And there's a bit of rapport and trust because they know I'm a real person, right? And my whole goal and my whole energy is to show a down-to-earth confidence and aggression, to be honest, because that type of aggression makes them know that I'm serious, and my ability to close. Okay. Now, sounds self-serving, but even I get deals from other realtors, believe it or not, because they are the best resource in this situation. So make friends with a top-notch investor-focused realtor, and you'll receive targeted access to these specific properties automatically. So being what I am and what I have access to as a realtor, I can set up automatic searches for properties that are listed more than 30 days in certain locations, okay, that have certain criteria that are going to give me access to these kind of properties, the stale property. I can set a search to give me as many stale properties as possible. And that's what I do, right? That's how I know what's going on, and that's how I know who to target. I'm not spending 4 hours a day going through every bloody property, checking the days on market, okay? So make friends with a top-notch investor-focused realtor, and they can set you up on an automatic search to show you the stale properties in your target area, okay? Big tip. Okay, number 3, targeted letter drops. Whoops, got ahead of myself. Okay, targeted letter drops, I use them like sniper bullets, okay? If I'm dropping a targeted letter, it's directed at a certain property, a certain seller, in a very certain neighborhood, right? For me, from my perspective, it works well for residential type properties. And it worked for me when I found the house I live in now, at least my wife's dream property, to put it that way. So what we did, this was 2020 when there was no inventory and, prices were going sky high. We were getting ready to build a house for ourselves in Oakville. And, we had some problems with our neighbor, and that's a long story. I'm not going to get into it, but essentially we decided, okay, we'll put this project on pause. We'll keep this house, we'll rent it for a while, and we're going to move and we'll buy a proper family home, which is what we did. But we wanted to be in a certain neighborhood, and getting into that neighborhood is very difficult. A, there was nothing for sale. B, when it did come for sale, there was 30 offers every time. And, we wanted to have a pool. So my wife was bothering me, like, when are we going to buy a house? When are we going to buy a house? When are we going to buy a house? And I finally got pissed off one day. I'm like, hey, look, Laura, you want to buy a house? Go walk down the street and start knocking on doors. Because I know what I'm doing. I'm a realtor and I'm looking and there's nothing there, right? Unless you want me to go and put someone in a headlock and steal their house, there's nothing I can do here. So, and she's like, okay, I'll do it. I said, fine. So what I did is I wrote up a letter. Dear Mr. Seller, we're a nice family. And I said, go drop it at the houses that you want. And what she did is she did Google Earth, and she looked at all the houses that were backing onto the ravine in the neighborhood, and all the houses that had a pool that were backing onto the ravine. And she went and she dropped letters. She dropped about 20 the first day, and we got 2 callbacks. One of them was a dud. The second one, we were in their house 48 hours later looking at it, ready to buy. Put the offer in. The lady wanted too much money. Didn't work out, let's say. I thought she was nuts. So we tried again. So we went to the other side of the ravine, did the same thing. My wife wanted a ravine property. She wanted to have a pool. Okay, go drop them all. She dropped 40 letters. She took one of my daughters there too. So she would walk down the sidewalk with my younger daughter. She was sleeping in the what do you call it? The carriage there, the carriola. And my older daughter would go to the door with the letters. And just so happens a lady was coming outside, and Isabella was like, oh, here, yeah, we want to buy a house. And she gave her the letter. And the lady smiled, went and talked to my wife. And the lady's like, yeah, we've been thinking about selling. We actually just contacted our realtor. We just finished some renovations in the house and all this kind of stuff. And again, within 48 hours, we went to see the house. I put an offer that night, and we bought the house. Okay, now, but the letter sold it. The meeting was fine. Getting to the meeting and walking around, I guess, knocking on doors, if you want to call it that, that was step one. But step 2 was the actual letter. And it was something like this. This is a letter I helped one of my clients draft, and we used this to get him a house too. So, we hope this letter finds you safe and well in these unusual times. In addition to sharing our offer, we also wanted to personally introduce ourselves and share a bit our interest in buying your beautiful home. We are a family of 4, originally from Ottawa and Montreal, but have called Toronto home for 15 years. Anik is a mother and humanitarian aid worker at Child Rights Organization Plan International Canada. Marco is a father and a marketing analytics partner at Deloitte, an avid long distance runner, et cetera, about their kids. We actively enjoy the amenities that the city offers. However, as our family has grown, we have been working hard to find a beautifully appointed home in Oakville, offering more room, access to green space, etc. Finding your exquisite home has been a dream come true, et cetera. So this is what the chance meeting was great. Knocking on doors was great. That created the opportunity. But this is what sold the family, because it was 2020. She could have just as easily, she was already in contact with the realtor. She could have just as easily signed the listing paperwork, put the for sale sign on the lawn, and it would have been sold, probably for more money than what we paid. But because she knew us now, and she kind of fell in love with our story a little bit, she's like, hey guys, we'll sell it to you, but we want this price. And I was like, okay, right? No problem, right? Save me from going 200,000 over asking. So this is, I'm telling you, very, very powerful if you're targeting certain properties. And I promise you this works, okay? Now, you can also do this with multifamily properties, because those are unique properties and you have to target them. The problem is you can't just go to the property and drop them off, okay? Because the seller's not going to get it. So you have to be clever and have the seller's contact information, speak to a property manager, send it to the property manager to send to the seller, or have access. There's certain programs out there, which I won't mention, where you can kind of subscribe and get access to, the ownership or the corporation name and stuff like that, where you can actually get the seller's contact info or the corporation's mailing address, et cetera, okay? So targeted letter drops really, really, really work. And they will work for, investment type properties also. You just have to adjust the strategy a little bit, okay? I see there's some questions here. I'm sorry if I missed it. Oh, Ruslan, yeah, fair market value, correct. You got me there. Excuse, Paul, it seems to make positive cash flow even with 20% inventory. Is this, D, we'll save this question to the end. I think I know what you're asking, but we'll talk in greater detail. So that's an example of the letter. Screenshot this if you like. I mean, and always include a picture so they remember your face, okay? Very, very important. And all the cheesy stuff they put in there, that's the stuff that works, okay? Now, here's a fun one you probably never heard of. Stale rental ads, okay? Just like stale listings on MLS, there are stale listings where you find direct access to landlords, right? But there's still rental ads, so people leasing their property, okay? So you want to look for stale rental ads that have been out there for 30, 60 days or longer. So Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace, and whatever other rental sites you're using, okay? Those are the ones I pretty much use the most because they're the most effective. If there are other rental sites that you know of that you're using that are effective, please tell me, because I'm always looking for them. Because I always feel like I want to stay on the edge of that. I hate not having access to the best type of leads. So what you want to do is craft a very powerful message and send to the landlord. So literally through the ad. So it might be a 2-bedroom apartment available in this duplex. You want to send them a message right through the ad, right? Because you're going to get directly to the landlord. The landlord or the property manager is going to see it, okay? So in the ad, in the message, what you want to do is these things. Expose the problem. I'll explain in a minute. Build KLT, know, like, and trust. They have to know, like, and trust you in a very short time, in a few paragraphs. Offer a solution to the problem. Remember, expose the problem, offer solution. And very easy and quick way to contact you. What other opportunities do they have? Can you connect me with others and make sure they know you'll pay a referral fee or a commission if they sell your house to you, or if they connect you with someone else who wants to sell? Okay. And it's a numbers game. What I do, and what I've been testing it myself, just so I'm not full of BS. And I've done this before during uncertain markets, and I'm going to keep doing it. What I'll do is I'll get up early and I'll send 100 messages, usually twice a week, early in the week and late in the week, because, early in the week, you'll have like a Sunday, Monday, you'll have ads that are still out there where people aren't getting responses. And then later in the week, like a Wednesday, Thursday, there's new ads that are coming out. So I want to catch them. Okay. But you got to remember, don't be upset if you don't get a response right away. Really, the response, I'm not saying the success rate. Look, expect a response rate of 1 to 2%. So you might get, if you send 100 messages, you're going to get 1 or 2, maybe 3 responses. That's good. That's a good thing. This is a long-term strategy. Don't expect this to work in week 1. It might take you 4 to 6 weeks of doing this to get a response, but don't hate on me, please. Because if you're able to scoop up 1 good property from doing this, it's a free strategy. It's a copy and paste. It takes you 30 minutes to do this. If you spend 5 hours doing this and bought one good property, 10% under market value, how much money are you making? What's your return on your investment? What's your return on time? Okay, this costs nothing except a little bit of your time here. But if you get 1 deal done, even 1 a year, even 1 every 2 years, this is probably one of the most powerful strategies you're ever going to use. So expect a response rate 1 to maybe 3% if you're really good. Now, the response might come back and they might say, hey, jam it, don't ever contact me again. Technically, that's a response, right? But I promise you, if you're consistent, you're going to get some decent responses eventually. Okay, here's an example. Screenshot it if you like. Okay, dear landlord, my name is Paul, and this is my website. The website thing is for the KLT. Know, like, and trust. They see I have a professional website and I'm a real player in the game. They're automatically going to know a little bit about who I am, and they're going to trust me because I'm not just some fly-by-night scammer, right? Right away, can I buy your property at or above the current market value and close in 30 days or less? I realize that you're just looking for a quality tenant here. I'm sorry to catch you off guard. Spelling mistake. I just have a quick and important message to you. Here's the problem thing. I identify a problem. It's a tough market in the GTA right now for many landlords. High interest rates, landlord-tenant boards are a pain in the ass, taxes are too high, whatever. Okay, you got to craft your message. But you can see what I'm saying. It's a tough market in the GTA right now for many landlords. High interest rates are making it really tough to cash flow. Mortgage things are tough and people aren't moving. The rental market's slow. And I've been able to create a win-win, no-lose deal with many landlords with at or above market value offers to purchase their property, to get cash in their hand and relieve their burden in 30 days or less. Problem, solution. Would this type of deal help you? I'm a local landlord and investor just like you. I'm looking to acquire more properties just like yours. I'd like to make a fair market value offer on your property. This is not a gimmick. I am well-funded, prepared to make a fair offer. Contact me here. Okay. If you're not ready to sell, that's totally okay. I hope this property is profitable for you. Would you kindly refer me to other landlords or owners who are open to sell, and I will pay you a 1% referral fee or more. Thank you. Okay. Use this template. It'll work. Okay. Screenshot if you like. Okay. Very important. If you're going to do this, you better have cash in hand. What I mean by cash in hand is you better be ready to close. Because if you're not ready to close, you're going to ruin your reputation really quick. And this is it's a small network of people who are investor focused. Like, I know a lot of people who do what I do and are working with investors all the time. If I'm working with a client or another investor and they're not honest with me, guess who I'm going to tell, right? So your reputation is everything. And if you say you can close, damn it, you better close. Okay. So be ready with your cash, be ready with your financing, be ready with your private financing, whatever it is. Now, a lot of times with these offers, because I know my cash, if it's me personally, my cash is ready, I'll put a bigger deposit. So I'll show you a deal I just did, and my deposit on the $300,000 purchase was $50,000. Now, why would I put a 15% deposit? Sounds crazy, because I was going to close in cash anyway. I don't care. But that gave them so much confidence in me, and I was able to close the deal at a good price. Okay. We talked about this. Show your bank account statement, even if it's an older one from a couple months ago, it doesn't matter. Just show it. It's so powerful. Pre-approval letters, an email from your mortgage broker or bank saying you're pre-approved. So I've used that before. Okay. So I'll get my mortgage. Hey, Dan, Hugo, whoever, send me an email that says I'm pre-approved. And I screenshot that email like, guys, look, this is coming right from my mortgage broker. We're good to go. Letter of commitment. Use this as, you got to use that power as leverage to show your strength and reliability, especially if there's competition. What if there's two people like me want to go after the same property? If it's a good deal, you want to win. I'm not saying pay over asking. I'm saying instead of using your money to pay more to look like your offers better, use your strength to close. Because think about it, if you're a seller and you're in distress or you need to sell right now or whatever whatever the situation is, I don't care. But you're going to sell, and we know you're selling below market value. To accept giving you a large discount, I must trust that you can close. I will never agree to put a discount on paper or agree to sell you a property on paper if I don't know you can close. If I don't trust you or don't know you or don't see that you can close, if you haven't given me the confidence, I'm not going to sell the property to you. I'm going to sell it to somebody else, even for slightly less, because I need the money in my hand. Make sure you remember that, because that's what's going through the seller's mind. You got to know your customer. Okay. Very, very important. You can do all those things right that I just mentioned, but if you did this wrong, you're done. You're going to lose deals. Okay. Now, let me show you some examples that I was able to scoop up using the same strategies that I'm teaching you right now. Okay. This deal I got from a wholesaler. Okay. This is a lot, 70 by 110. It had a house on it. It was a total piece of, you know what? Okay. The wholesaler was trying to sell it like a flip. He's trying to say, yeah, you can flip this property. I went to see it, and the foundation was caving in on itself. And I'm like, buddy, you can't flip this. This is a demo. Like, it's going to cost you 50 grand just to fix the foundation. Never mind the rest of this junk of a house, right? So he kind of knew, but was trying to sell it anyway. And that's how I was able to get the deal. I built some rapport with him. I'm like, look, man, no one's going to buy this on a flip. You know, if you want, I can buy this thing, but I'm a developer. I'm buying it for land value, not for property value. So market value, you know, I thought was 400,000 or so. Ended up getting a 70 by 110 lot with an unsavable house, ends up getting appraised for 397. I purchased it for 291,500. Okay, from a wholesaler. The wholesaler was trying to get was it 330 or 340? I got it for 291. 27% under market value. Okay, to me that's a grand slam. Now, my plan, when I went to see the property, I wasn't there looking at a development property. I was there because it looked cheap, and if I could save this house, I figured I could turn it into a duplex or maybe sever the lot beside it. I wasn't thinking about demolishing it, but when I got there and I saw everything, my head started to spin. I did some numbers, and that's where I made some offers to them. So the plan is to sever the lot into three townhouse lots. 23 by 0.3 foot wide each by 110 deep. Each lot is going to be worth $150K each, even in a bad market. Okay, and that's cheap. $150,000 for a townhouse lot, like that's a joke. Okay, and I could build those townhouses into duplexes also, which would be even better. But here's an example. Here's the lot, 70 foot wide by 110 each deep. Okay, let's check out the flow of money here. So my acquisition cost about $291,500. My closing costs $8,000. My cost to sever, all the planning costs and fees to the city, about $19,000. My total cost $318,500 ish. Say $320. Okay, time to completion in this city, about 90 to 120 days to get severance. Okay, my finished low value is about $150,000 per lot, or 450 grand total. High value in a good market, maybe I get 200,000 per lot, maybe 180, whatever, but more. Okay, so profit on the sale, low 131 grand, high 281 grand, or somewhere in the middle. If I pick up 200,000 on this deal, pretty good day. Okay, I could also keep it, build on it to, build a duplex on each one, sell each duplex, or keep them all. That'd be like 3 duplexes in a row. That's a 6plex. I could keep that. That would be a long-term cash flowing property. Plus, I'd have all this equity built in, right? Built in. Now, Nikhil, I got to hop off, really run to an appointment, but this was fantastic. Nikhil, I'll send you off the recording. You're missing out on some good stuff here, but I will send you the recording in case you have to catch up, in case you want to catch up on this. Okay. Now, I'm not suggesting you guys, start doing development properties. This was the highest and best use for the property. Okay. It's something that I know how to do and I like to do, but I'm not teaching you this class to encourage you to become developers. It's a great skill and it's profitable, but there are definitely other opportunities. You don't have to focus on development. This is just the way this deal landed, was like this. And because I have this skill, I'm able to do this. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So that's this. Any questions on this? Okay, let's move on. Now, here's a second one that I was able to get. This one was earlier in the year, but this one was on the market for 45 days when I saw it the first time. Okay, so market value, 650 grand. Okay, this was actually, I made a mistake. It got appraised at 640, but anyway, it's in that ballpark anyway. So it was listed at 650, got reduced to 500, then got reduced again to 575. I end up purchasing it for 502. It gets appraised at 640. This is just sitting on the market. And I did all the strategies that I was telling you before with the low offer, 10 to 20% below market, with the long irrevocable, calling the realtor, all that. I did all of that here. Okay. So 23% under market value. Okay. To me, grand slam. Now, multifamily or land. I'm going to show you that in a second. This was a triplex, a legal triplex, but just really bad shape, like probably one of the worst triplexes I've ever seen. So my plan initially was to renovate the units, take out the tenants, renovate the units, refinance, rent them out for much higher rent, refinance, recover my capital, and bingo, I have a nice renovated triplex with all my money extracted. Perfect BRRRR type property. And that is and was and is still possible on this property right now. However, another opportunity kind of exposed itself, and again to development. So the lot is 65 by 169, okay, on a corner. So when I went to see it, I just happened to be with another friend of mine. He's a builder in Niagara region, and we were out looking at another deal, one of his builds. I was going to help him sell it, and I said, "Hey, come with me to look at this place I just locked up. And he walked around the lot and he's like, he just assumed I was going to do a development. I'm like, no, Chris, I'm keeping this triplex here. It's in decent shape, good bones. There's 3 good units here. There's a 3-bedroom unit, a 2-bedroom unit, and a 1-bedroom unit. And the 1-bedroom I could have converted to a 2-unit, and it had a big garage in the back. I'm like, I'll build a garden suite here and everything. And he's looking at it, and because it was on a corner lot, he's like, buddy, you can get 3 townhouse lots in the front and then a 4th lot in the back. And we started to do the math, and it kind of made as much or more sense to treat it as a development property than anything. Again, I'm not here to, tell you have to do development properties, but it did just the way this one landed. I promise you, just by fluke. And I'm just trying to be real and honest with you and not give you any fluff. Okay, so this is it. So we got 3 townhouse lots in the front. This is going to be a common driveway where you can access the townhouses from the rear. And then this is the extra lot in the back. Right? This is the triplex. It's still here. I haven't demolished it yet. We're just in the planning stages, right? And the garage, there's a big garage here in the back. That could have been a garden suite, right? So same idea here from a land perspective. Acquisition, 502, closing costs, cost to sever, the renos to make it into a functional place just to get it rented for the short term, 28 grand, total cost, just about 600,000. My time to completion, about a year to 18 months because it's slower in this municipality. Finished value, about 200,000 per lot, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Up to 250 a lot. So my profit on the sale here, if I sell the lots, 200 to 400,000. If I end up keeping the triplex, which is looking unlikely, it'll cost me another probably $180,000, right? To renovate the entire place, spick and span, really nice units. I'll have a 3-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, and a 1-bedroom, and do some landscaping outside, create some backyard space for each unit. Really, really nice. And the finished value probably somewhere in the 900 grand range if I do that. So I'll be able to refinance and recover my renovation costs, but not my down payment costs. It wouldn't be a true BRRRR, but pretty close. Still a good deal. Okay. Any questions on this? No. So, folks, this stuff works. I promise you it does. And I'm using it myself. I'm doing it with helping other investors do the same. That's what we do. Okay. So remember these important things. When you're able to get properties under market, it's so valuable because it's direct profit in your pocket. You don't have to wait till you sell to get profitable. Okay. If you get a 10, 20% discount from day one, that's immediate profit in your pocket. Okay. And not all of these deals are going to be grand slams. If you get something 5, 7, 8, 10% under market value, that's still good. I would still take that any other day. Okay. But while you're able to get grand slams, please take it. Okay. It's only going to help you get to where you want to be a hell of a lot faster. Okay. Ruth, then how did I finance those? The triplex, I got B lender finance because I have too many properties. I can't get financing anymore. So I got 25% down payment. My interest rate, even before interest rates were going up, was 4.5%. But I knew it was short term anyway. I probably have to. That mortgage is coming due this year, so it's going to be tight. And then that lot for 291,000, I just bought that in cash. Okay, so remember another big thing, and why should you keep investing in Ontario? This is why. Okay, this is from CMHC. I didn't make this stuff up. Canada's housing supply shortage, restoring affordability by 2030. Okay, this is from June of 2022, very recent. Okay, look right down here. If the current rates of new constructions continue, we project the housing stock will increase by 2.3 million units between 2021 and 2030. This will reach close to 19 million housing units by 2030. Okay, now, Ontario, you should probably already know this, is the most populous province in Canada. About 15 million people just in Ontario, and the rest of Canada has about 38 million. We're more than half of the entire country right here in Ontario. Does anybody know the most new construction units ever built in the province of Ontario? Please take a guess so we can have some fun here. Send it through the chat or unmute yourself. The most amount of units, condo units, single family homes, single family, detached, the most amount of new units ever built in 1 year in Ontario. Somebody take a guess. Come on, we're going to be here till noon if someone doesn't guess. 50K, 500,000, Trent, wow. 50K, Rob, you're close. Okay, the most amount of units ever built in the province of Ontario in any 1 year, the record, Rajesh, way off, buddy, 77,000. Now, why am I telling you this? Let's give CMHC 10 years, they're saying between 2021 and 2030. Okay, 2021 and 2030. Let's give them 10 years. They say they're going to increase by 2.3 million units. That's an average of 230,000 units every year for 10 years. Yet the record is 77,000 units. Now, let me ask you a second question. Is the government reducing red tape or increasing red tape? What I mean by that, are they making it easier to build, less BS, or is there more BS and taxes and pain in the ass for us to build? Right? The answer is more, if you didn't know. Okay, welcome to Ontario. So the province and the feds make it harder to build, and they want the private market, not like the government builds houses, they don't do anything, or they don't do much. They want the private markets to triple or quadruple their output every year for 10 years to meet this goal. Do you think it's going to happen? Not a chance in hell. This is just mumbo jumbo. This is called, I want to get reelected again. We're going to solve the housing crisis in 10 years. Because there are a lot of people who are working really hard, who have kids who are 5, 10, 15 years old, and they're thinking, holy shit, what am I going to do when my kids 20, 25, 30 years, how are they going to buy a house? And the government's talking to them, yeah, in 10 years, we're going to have 2.3 million units for them to buy. Not a chance. I'd be lucky if we get close to 1 million. Very lucky. Probably not that. The long point I'm trying to make is that there's going to continue to be a shortage of housing. So if you're buying quality rental units, do you stand to make money? Are your rents going to increase? Is the value of your property going to keep increasing because of supply and demand? Are you ever going to be without a tenant in Southern Ontario? How? Plus, the third thing, get this. They'll want to let in between 400 and 600,000 new immigrants every year into Canada. 43% of them come to Ontario. Let's say half. So you want to let another 200,000-300,000 people every year into Ontario, and we only build a record of 77,000 units a year. Record. Think about that, folks. I'm not making this stuff up. All this data is available to you. So be careful when you get these type of messages, because they're usually full of, you know what? Okay. The reality is, being a landlord here is very profitable if you do it right. Get good quality properties, even if they look ugly, you can make them look pretty. But if they're in good areas that are highly rentable, you stand to make a tremendous profit over the next decade. Okay. Regardless of what prices are now. And that's real. Okay. I hope that makes sense to you. Be like Steve. Steve retired. He was an exceptional story. He was a VP for a big company. He had a big salary for a long time. He had a lot of money saved up, and when he kind of had the company kind of cut costs and he got let go. This was like 10 years ago, and he went nuts buying properties, nuts, piles of single family homes. Then slowly started to get into multifamily. He did exceptionally well for himself, right? And he's always a good story because he's so down to earth, and he talks to the little guys who are getting started all the time. And I always share his story because even though it's exceptional, because he's an older guy when he started. And you know, not often, but every time I'm talking to someone older, you know, 50 plus, 55, it's too late for me. I want to help my son, or I want to help my daughter. All the power to you. Please help your son and daughter, but please don't forget about yourself. You have to help yourself too. In fact, by helping yourself, you're going to end up helping your son or daughter too, right? And Steve talks about that all the time. Okay. So, you know, I'm going to tell you how you can work with me if you really want to now. This is going to be, that's the last 10 minutes of the presentation. So if you prefer some mentorship in this game, everything I just taught you, you can use. You can take it, run with it, do whatever you want, screenshot everything you saw here. I'll send you the recording too. No problem. I'm not hiding anything from you. Okay. But if you want to go at it alone, be my guest. If you want to find a realtor in your network, or you're a realtor, or you have somebody who can do this stuff, who's investor focused, all the power to you. I wish you all the best. I want to cheers with you in the bar when we crush it in a couple of years. Okay. But if you want some help from a professional, I'm here to help, is what I'm trying to say. I have a team of people also. It's not just me. I wouldn't be able to keep up. And we want to help you. And this is how we help the vast majority of people. Okay. You know, we have a membership, and it's called the Rockstar Inner Circle. You know, we're a group, and we provide, you know, basic coaching and mentorship to local investors and help them invest in real estate using simple and proven systems like I just showed you. We have lots of systems. We're very, very system focused: rent to own, lease options, student rentals, second suites, pre-construction, duplex, triplex, fourplex, Airbnb, flipping, multifamily. I mean, 4+ units, 5+, larger stuff, land developments, all this kind of stuff. We do it, and we have systems for it, and we can do it right here locally in Ontario with professionalism and investor focused. Okay. We have, this is old now, but we have 25 classes that we teach. I don't know if you guys can see here, but I'm in my office, and this room, I hope you can see behind me here. This room is a training room. So I'm in the training room right now. We teach a lot of classes in this room. And what we're doing now is alternating in person and Zoom. You know, it seems like we can't get over the Zoom addiction from the whole COVID nonsense, but it's proven to be a good tool. But I wouldn't want you to forget about the in-person stuff. It's very important to come here, shake hands with other investors, and meet people and network. So 1 month in person, 1 month over Zoom, and it covers all bases. Okay. But we have 25 different classes, folks. Rent your home for top dollar, how to lease your property, student rental class, how to get good financing, know your rights as a landlord, very important, property management class, bookkeeping class, how to do joint ventures, how to do garden suites, forcing appreciation, Airbnb, apartment buildings. I teach this class, accounting classes, infill and land development, invest like a developer, life insurance and estate planning. We have doctors come in and talk about, naturopaths come in and talk about medicine, peak male and female health, e-commerce, and there's a couple other ones that I can't even remember right now, but we're full. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evenings, this place is rammed, either with people or we're on Zoom, but we're filled with people learning. Okay, very, very, very important. Okay, all included in your membership here. Okay, what do we charge for this? One-time enrollment fee of $500 and $69 a month. Today, hey, magical marketing. Today, okay, it's $199 and $50 a month. Okay, $50 a month to basically be in how to invest in real estate professional university, if you want to call it that. Okay, if you're interested in something like this and you want to check out the offer, just go to www.rockstarmember.expertinvestoracademy.com. I know it's a long URL. I'll I'll copy and paste it and put it in the chat. But rockstarmember.expertinvestoracademy.com. Okay, there's a promo code. It's applied automatically, so you don't have to worry about it. And this will be here until tomorrow. The promo will expire. I promise you that, because I don't like to give it away for next to nothing, because we'll have too many people, and we can't handle that many people, to be fair. And that's not a marketing thing. That's real life. Okay. Now here's everything you get as a Rockstar Inner Circle member. Most importantly, you get access to me. I'm here to help you. So I'm going to meet with you one-on-one. Actually, it says right there, initial private one-on-one consultation. I'm going to meet with you one-on-one, and I want to figure out exactly what you're trying to accomplish in this game. And I want to help you get there. Just the way I did for myself, just the way I've done for a number of these other people I just showed you. I want to help you have positive lifestyle results, and we're going to help you get there using real estate. Okay. So private one-on-one consultation, ongoing private, we're not going to meet once and never talk again, but you're going to meet with me, you're going to meet with other people on my team, and we're going to keep going and keep, helping you get to where you want to go. We're not going to get there overnight. This is not a get rich fast scheme. It's a get rich slow type of scheme. And so we have to keep meeting with each other. You get a monthly Inner Circle newsletter. Okay. And when I say newsletter, I mean a newsletter mailed to your house in paper, in color, just like this, full of stories of what other people are doing, featuring, what stories about who it filled up, what at this property, what's happening in Hamilton, what's happening in Kitchener. It's just full of good stuff. Okay. I even make sure they mail it to my house because I like my kids to see it. It's a fantastic newsletter, but it's on paper. Okay, because we have enough emails. Inner Circle members only website. So you'll have a username and login. You come in, you can register for the classes here. We have quarterly events, which I'll talk about in a second. And here you can access all our podcast episodes, our toolbox, referrals to our partners, all kinds of good stuff, which I'm going to talk to you about here. But you'll have your own login and membership. Okay. If you like the rent to own system, we have a kind of business in a box for rent to own. People seem to really love that business in a box thing. So it's there for you. We have a weekly Best Buy hot sheet. So what we do is we pick 1 or 2 properties every week that we really like. And we do all the financials and we send it out to everybody just to show you kind of what's out there and help you learn how to process numbers and stay on top of what's in the marketplace. Okay. Registration for all our events, and we have a ton of events going on, networking events also, which are super important. Don't discount the ability to sit beside somebody who knows more than you and talk to them as a friend. It's so valuable, especially in our day and age right now. Zoom can only do so much. Okay, exclusive audios. Also, all our audios, all our interviews, our podcasts, they're all going to be available to you on the website. Okay, and then 3 times a year, quarterly, we do a massive event. We're having one February 11th is our first one of the year in 2023. We're going to have anywhere between 800 to 1,000 people. So our members, and then people will bring their wives. Rob brings his wife, and John brings his wife, or his cousin, or his brother, or whatever. And we literally have 800 to 1,000 people. Okay, no joke. And there'll be different speakers there. We're not there to sell you anything or big courses, or I promise you, it's not like that. But it's pure education and pure networking. You will not find another event like this in Ontario anywhere. Promise, 100%. I'll give you your money back myself. Okay. Audios, we talked about that. Our YLYT event, we just talked about. Oh, you got an app. Hey, we got an app for that too. So if you're too lazy to punch in your email and password and log in on your computer, we've got an app on your phone, and you can log in right on your phone while you're doing whatever and register for classes and see all the podcasts and stuff like that. It's actually really handy. People love it, especially the young people. I'm just aging myself. Open to the whole Rockstar community. We got a lot of cool people around. And then the training classes we already talked about. Most importantly, you're going to get access to me, and I'm going to take a vested interest in you and your success, and make sure you get to where you want to go. Okay. Again, the classes, just to remind you, people love these classes. It's so valuable. I'm telling you, for 50 bucks a month, we should be charging 500. Like it's insane the kind of value you're going to get for $50. Okay. And if you don't like it, we'll give you your $50 back. Like, we're not here to make money off you, but or make money off your $50. Let's say our hope is that you see us as experts in our field, and that when you are ever ready to get yourself a student rental or maybe an Airbnb property or a multifamily property, that you'll come to us and use our services, because we are realtors and we are investor focused, and that's where we will make our money. Okay. So again, we've reduced the cost from $499 enrollment down to $199. Okay. And it's just to cover our costs. We're putting on these education based webinars, and it's 50 bucks a month after that. And if you don't like it after a month or two, just let us know and we'll give you your money back. Okay. Be like Marco. Marco was so skeptical. He's the guy in the letter, in the letter drop. So Marco was so skeptical about who we are and what we do, but he's gone on to make tremendous results. I helped him with all these properties. And why you see this $2,400 a month cash flow here, because that's a sixplex. You've got 6 townhouses attached to each other. He's going in and renovating them and literally tripling the rents. He's done fantastically well. And I always, when we have a longer class, I share the bigger story, but he was because he's a marketing analytics guy, he's so data driven, and he was bugging us about every little data point, and he was super skeptical, challenging us on everything. But eventually he did come to trust us and know that we're real people, that we're authentic, and that we're doing what we say. We walk our talk. So all the things that I'm trying to teach him and help him do, I've already done 10 times, and I've done it with other people. And I want to help you do the same. Simple as that. That's our business model. Okay. The Marco and so many others are using our investing system and coaching and have achieved their cash flow and lifestyle goals. So, what do you want more of? Whatever it is that you want more of, we can help you get there. If it's more cash flow, we got you. If it's more time off and more vacations, we got you. If it's helping your parents pay off your mortgage, again, I want to see you do that too. Okay. Again, the website, www.rockstarmember.expertinvestoracademy.com. You'll see this promo available until tomorrow only. I see a question come through. We'll send the code to my friend. Yeah, send the code. Send it, Russ. That's fine. We'll chat with them. Okay, especially if it's coming from you. So that's the end of the training for today, folks. I'm gonna post this thing in the chat here for those of us who missed the URL. I'll put it through the chat here for everybody. Okay, there we go. If there's any lingering questions, folks, I'm going to hang around here for a couple minutes. We stayed on time. Perfect. And just shoot, unmute yourself, let me know, or put it through the chat if you're shy. I'll be here for a couple minutes if there's any other questions. Okay, so I hope to see you on the other side. If you do choose to join us and you want to work with me, I'll book an appointment with you personally, and we'll either see you one-on-one in the office here, or we'll touch base over Zoom, but eventually I do want to see you in person. Okay. Yes, Rob, I got you, my friend. So hopefully everyone has a good weekend. Hope it doesn't snow anymore. I know I'm not that old, but I'm sick of winter. Trent, you're welcome. You're very welcome. I hope you found it valuable. And if you do want to talk more and you want some mentorship and get this thing done, please contact us and we'll be there to help you. Okay. John, you're welcome. Yes, Andrew. Yeah, we'll talk about what we got to do next, my friend. Ray, appreciate the kind words. I'm trying to provide you as much value as possible. Okay, I'm gonna put through that sign up page one more time here. If you do want to chat further, please visit the page. And I'm gonna sign off for the night, for the day, and get back home. D, thank you also. Have a great weekend, folks. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.